What is up, you guys? Namikon here, bringing you my perspective as to what editing is bringing us. And today, we'll be talking about Dreamworks' Dragons, the TV series based on the Dreamworks' hit franchise, How to Train Your Dragon. This series bridges the gap between the first movie and the sequel. Some of the cast from the movie reprised their role with their characters. Jay Baruchel as Hiccup, America Ferreira as Astrid, and Chris Mintz as Fishlegs, and TJ Miller as Tough Knot all reprise their roles. Meanwhile, many other characters, all their original voice actors were replaced for cost constraints. Characters such as Snotlout, originally voiced by Jonah Hill, is now being voiced by Zach Perlman in this show. And also Rough Nut, originally voiced by Kristen Wiig, was voiced by Julie Marcus, only for season 1. And the most notable, Hiccup's dad, Stoic, formerly voiced by Gerard Butler, is voiced by Nolan North. So, since this is a show based on a DreamWorks movie, they can't really do some high-stakes stories that will require people to watch the show. But that is a good thing, as it will derail people's enjoyment for the sequel, and the show will be used as homework for many fans. This show most of the time has one-off episodes, with the occasion of having 2 episodes using the same story in case the stakes are bigger. As you can tell, the animation in this show is nowhere near as good as in the films. Since this is a TV show, they have to restrain from over-budgeting it. This show was aired on Cartoon Network. At the time, that seemed odd because there were 2 other DreamWorks shows on Nickelodeon, and those were The Penguins of Madagascar and Kung Fu Panda: Legends of Awesomeness. Although, if you were to compare the quality of those 3 series, I would say that Dragons have the edge. That's probably biased talking, since How to Train Your Dragon is my favorite DreamWorks film. But no, seriously, this was planned to be darker and deeper than those 2 shows by having a similar tone to what the movies did. That is a good thing to me, since many shows based on the movies dumb that down so that it will be more suitable for children on their homes. This show introduced characters that are exclusive to this show. Characters like Mildew, Heather, and Alvin the Treacherous. Mildew is a citizen at Berk, who has a hatred for dragons. He does not hide it, he makes it clear about his dissatisfaction with dragons living with him. The second is Heather, who is voiced by Mae Whitman. If you don't know her, she voices Little Susie in Johnny Bravo and voices Katara in The Last Airbender. She was a notable character from the fanbase, mainly because of the way she was designed, but she did have a story purpose. She had a 2-part arc where Hiccup trusted her more than he should have because he thought her ship crashed and he wanted to support her as much as he can. Only for Astrid to find out that she's not what she seems. Alvin the Treacherous is the main antagonist of the series. He is voiced by none other than Mark Hamill. Not one of my favorite villains he has voiced, but Alvin was a serviceable villain. One thing I do appreciate about this show is that they give a lot of the side characters more screen time, such as Fishlegs and Snotlout. With Fishlegs, he was known as the scaredy cat in the group, but in some episodes of this show, he has some scenes where he had to man up and stand up to his adversaries to get what he wants. And because of that, he turned into one of my favorite characters in this whole franchise, honestly. Excuse me. And what also helps Fishlegs is that he's also just as knowledgeable with dragons as Hiccup, which gives both characters which complements both complement with each characters. And Snotlout is known as the macho tough guy in the movies. He still acts that way he still acts pretty arrogantly in the show, but he knows when to quit on that in the show, and I do appreciate that. And another notable thing is that Gobber Gobber is more prominent in this show compared to the movies. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is a very prominent character in the movies, and but I feel like he has more of a presence in this show. And by the way, he in the movies he was voiced by Craig Ferguson. In the show, he's voiced by Chris Edgerly. And honestly, you don't even notice that because the Scottish accent from Gobber is still there, and Chris Edgerly must have gotten a very good accent coach because you don't know you don't even notice the Scottish accent that Gobber lacked in the movies. You don't even notice it. Like it's still there, which is crazy to me. Overall, this show's pretty good. Um, it's not. It doesn't change. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the grand scheme of things as the movies did. But for what for for what it is, it's pretty good. Um, so this is Riders of Berk. That's Riders of Berk is season one of the show. Second season is Defenders of Berk, and the season three and beyond. I that's Race to the Edge. I think that's four seasons. So I think the reason why they changed the name is because Cartoon Network didn't when season three aired, they didn't have the rights to it anymore. So when Cartoon Network had the rights to air this show, it was Riders of Berk and Defenders of Berk. Uh, for a Race to the Edge, Netflix got the rights to it, and they let the they let the writers to the show continue writing the series, which is highly appreciated, honestly. Yeah, I think the main reason why they wanted to make the show was to add more lore to the world of the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, and to add more dragons, basically. Which, hey, I'm not complaining. The dragons in there, they're pretty creative, I would say. So one of my favorites is the Whispering Death, the one that Alvin is trying to tame. That is such a cool. It's such a cool and menacing dragon. Honestly, I really like that one. But anyways, if you guys are interested in checking this, if you guys want more How to Train Your Dragon content after watching the Hidden World, and you want to know more about the world, I would say check the show out. Check the Dragon show out. It's pretty good. Um, if you want to watch streaming wise, Riders of Berk I believe Riders and Defenders of Berk are at Peacock. Race to the Edge is on Netflix. I know that. But if you want, I would suggest if you want a physical copy, I would probably suggest finding it on secondhand stores or maybe better off online. But they should be cheap, as I got this at a record store for like $5. Both parts of season one. They contain 10 episodes each. So it's a pretty good bargain if you ask me. So yeah, check the show out if y'all want more Dragons content. So for those of you that have watched the Dragons TV show, did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And if you want to, you can also follow my Instagram, backlog, and letterbox down in the description down below. This is Navicon, and I'll see you next time.